What's up, everyone? It's our first video. I'm Michael,
And I'm Chris.
and today we're gonna be hating on the boys.
Professional hating, take one.
CBA, now they say I've been on my grind for 7 days. Need a raise, swear to God I'll never be the same. TBA,
Your butt.
All right, to start off, season 4 was not it, man.
Season 4 was a dumpster fire.
The first 3 episodes were just a whole bunch of nonsense. I don't even know what was happening.
The first 3 episodes were really just coming off the season 3 finale, which was so in my opinion anyway.
Season 3 was the best season.
Season 3 was absolutely the best season of The Boys, but the finale was not it. They hyped it up like they were going to kill Homelander, which obviously they weren't, but they ended up just fighting over Ryan. And then Maeve got shot by Soldier Boy's blast and lost her powers and was presumed dead, only to not come back at all in season 4 after being revealed to still be alive.
Bad writing.
Bad writing.
The first episode is about the boys on a secret mission to take down Victoria Neuman. Homelander's there with Ryan, and he presses Ryan about him and Victoria Neuman's daughter. I don't know, he's on some weird stuff.
Does nobody come back pregnant?
Homelander is always on some weird stuff, man. But in this episode, he's tweaking about aging, which is something I didn't even know he could do, considering that Soldier Boy and Stormfront couldn't age and they were the original superheroes. And Soldier Boy is Homelander's dad. Either way, that man is worried about getting old because he wants to leave something for Ryan. And he loves Ryan in his own way, but that man does not know how to act around him.
So Homelander meets up with Sage to form a more linear plan and get the insight into people's minds to basically make them fight each other and bring them together in the end. But I don't think that's going to work out too well.
So Homelander and Sage kick off this plan by killing Todd, MM's wife Monique's boyfriend from the last season.
Yeah, I didn't really care. I didn't like that guy anyway.
If you forgot that Homelander was on trial for lasering that guy at the end of season 3, so did the writers, because they wrote it out of the story super fast by killing Todd.
Bro, they were just wasting time, to be honest. When MM and Butcher go to see Mallory, Butcher meets up with this guy named Joe Kessler, who seems to be an old ally of Butcher's who he's done dirty in the past.
And that brings us to the end of the episode, where we get introduced to the 2 worst plot lines in all of The Boys: Hughie's dad and Frenchie's lover. Let's get into it.
Also, at the end of episode 1, they include Hughie's dad having a stroke off-screen. More off-screen nonsense that I cannot follow.
Yeah, that's not the only off-screen plot line that we're going to get to in this video. Stay tuned.
So MM this season is some type of investigator after getting fed some information by A-Train looking for Todd, when he finds him meeting up with Sister Sage in some secret meeting spot, because I guess they couldn't figure out anything for MM to do this season.
Yo, don't sleep on my man MM's investigative skills, alright? MM starts to see that A-Train is helping the boys out, and he eventually wants to flip him onto their side, which starts the end of A-Train's character arc to the good side, which we'll get into later in the season.
So when Homelander commands A-Train, the Deep, and the new Black Noir to kill 3 of his supporters to form Sage's plan, it doesn't work too well for A-Train. He's not with it.
Yeah, that man A-Train is starting to feel the weight of his actions, you know? In the beginning of the show, he was really like a villain, and now he's more like an anti-hero, and by the end of the season, he starts to feel like a hero. In the beginning, that man was straight up a villain. He killed Robin, and he killed Popclaw in cold blood. But at this point, he doesn't want to live that life no more. He wants to be a hero.
He also got Supersonic killed.
He did get Supersonic killed in season 3.
This scene shows A-Train and the Deep on 2 different sides of Homelander. One where he wants to do whatever Homelander says, and A-Train is on the other side questioning his motives at this point. Which in the beginning seasons, he did not care about killing people, he didn't care about nothing. But maybe after his brother got injured, he feels some remorse for the victims.
Yeah, let's just say that man the Deep is an insane dick rider. A-Train and the Deep are very much having inverse arcs here. The Deep is just getting worse and worse in his behavior, man. In this season, he really just doesn't care about the victims. He's just doing whatever Homelander tells him. But A-Train in this season, he's really starting to feel that remorse, and we can see him by the end of the season becoming a good guy. Episode 2.
Yeah, so episode 2 starts off with a random ass Will Ferrell cameo. I don't even know why he's in the show. I guess he just wanted his money for this cameo.
That man just wanted to be in the show for no reason.
Yeah, and that's why the fans are here for the most part, so they probably love that.
They was eating it up.
Speaking of cameos, we got Rob Benedict from Supernatural, who also played Chuck and started off as a prophet.
That man Chuck wanted his money in this season, man. He made his appearance. Another Supernatural reference coming off of Jensen Ackles in season 3 playing Soldier Boy. The Supernatural family is just all coming to the boys this season.
I eat them all up, I don't care.
Shout out Supernatural. After going from the prophet to God in Supernatural, that man Chuck wanted to come on the screen in the boys just to jiggle his balls in a fight scene. What was going on there?
And now time for the best part of the season, the introduction of the baddest of the bad, Firecracker. That's the only reason why I'm here. I don't even care.
You lost me.
Nah, but really, this episode starts off with Truth Con. A lot of truth stuff here. A little too political for me. I don't know.
Yeah, that's one of the issues with season 4 that I've seen a lot of people complaining about, and I am gonna hate on it too. Season 4 takes a lot of the subtlety that was going on with the political parallels in season 1, 2, 3, and just throws it out of the window, man.
Look, I'm sure you're all wondering why I'm here tonight instead of rimming out AOC while shouting, defund the police up her asshole.
They just start referencing conspiracy theories I never heard of and name dropping political things that I don't care about, and it's just way too in your face. Come on, man, keep the subtlety.
Yeah, the jokes were good, but this is going too far. Ryan gets his first taste of taking life after accidentally killing his training partner in his first save.
Nah, his second taste, because remember, he killed Becca at the end of season 2.
You're right.
But to be honest, I did not expect him to fling him at the wall like a freaking fly, man. That shit was brutal.
Nah, as soon as they did that training with the setup in the beginning, I knew he was going to kill somebody.
Hold on, play it real quick.
Holy shit. So who's now the leader of the boys, takes them on a mission to TruthCon to find out what Sage is planning with Homelander.
Yeah, my man Butcher got kicked out of the group after tweaking off that 10V. But he shows up in this episode to clap Chuck the same way he came in, butt naked.
Yeah, there was no need for all that. I don't know. He just died off real quick.
But Butcher comes in with his signature crowbar, like the GOAT he is, to show the boys how it's done. And he saves their asses once again. Yeah, this introduces us to a fire plotline about Joe Kessler not being real and Butcher imagining him. Me personally, I could tell from the jump. Joe Kessler only ever appears to talk to Butcher, and he's always wearing the same outfit, and encourages him to just do more evil shit against Supes.
Yeah, I love Dark Butcher, so...
Butcher has his Fight Club moment in this season. 20 likes and might go watch Fight Club. It's a banger! Come on!
It's not for everybody. Episode 3. Sage and Firecracker finally join the 7, and Sage gets closer to Homelander, and her plan starts to form a little better.
Yeah, in this episode, Sage is really trying to ignite that fire between the Homelanders and the Starlighters and start that political violence that Homelander's going to swoop in and save by the end of the season.
This episode includes the most important relationship in the show, the Deep and his octopus.
Truly a beautiful relationship going on here. It broke my heart when they broke up in this season.
The love triangle with the octopus and his wife was crazy in season 3, and now they bring it back just for this.
And the way she tried to expose my man in his book, she just didn't want true love to flourish, man.
Honestly, this show is hilarious.
Show goes too far, man.
Back to the main plot. They reintroduce Bob Singer as a character.
Bobby!
And they show how he's running for president and Victoria Newman's his vice president, so they can actually get a soup into the White House.
They got the whole Supernatural family coming in season 4, man. Shout out Supernatural, the greatest show of all time.
They're trying to follow the comic storyline a little bit, where Homelander actually kills the president as his final step to becoming evil.
Can we just talk about how that man Jim Beaver loves being Bobby so much? He's been Bobby in 2 shows. Plus, he's taking a way more prominent role in this season, making multiple appearances and running for president.
Yeah, the Idjit and Balls reference in the last episode.
That was crazy, man. Shout out Bobby.
Moving on, we got MM and A-Train. MM finally realizes that it's time to flip A-Train, so he goes to visit him and actually talk to him as a real person.
MM was putting in work in this season, bro. He really had to step up and be the boys' leader again, just like how he did in season 2. He was making good calls, especially with A-Train.
Frenchie in this episode is smacked out of his mind. I don't even know what's happening.
Yeah, that man gets clapped off shrooms or opioids or something. He starts hallucinating during missions.
Now, we already know he's a druggie, but in this episode, this man starts imagining rubber duckies and bubbles during the mission, bro. Like, come on.
We just gotta talk about how trash this Frenchie plotline is for a second, man. This man Frenchie already had like 3 in love interests, and in season 4 they just introduced another one for him to come on screen and waste time. I don't think he did anything in this season, bro. He just shows up, and then he just does his love story, and then he just gets high, and then he just F's off for the entire season, man.
So the reason is, in this season, they didn't want him to get with Kimiko too fast, and they have a whole other season to get through their relationship, so they wanted to stray off the main plot for a little bit, so it didn't come to a conclusion too fast.
By the end of the season, they kiss anyway, and they set it up like they're gonna be together. They was just wasting time, bro. Like, I don't know what they were doing, man.
Now let's get into some inconsistency with Homelander's powers.
That man's powers work whenever the plot wants them to, bro.
Bad writing. Bro, Hughie's in the vent right above him. How can he not hear him, smell him, even see him through that fucking vent?
I've seen some people say that the vent was probably made of zinc, which Homelander can't see through, but your head cannons aren't canon, bro. Alright? This man's powers only work sometimes. Like in season 2, when Stormfront is talking to Starlight, This man,
Standing
Homelander,
right behind the door.
he's right behind the door and he can't hear their conversation. But A-Train has to run to Toronto so he could call MM and not get caught. Explain that to me, bro.
Homelander could have clapped Hughie instantly. I don't know why he flew up, cut a hole in the vent, and then chased Hughie down. Bro, I don't know what's happening.
Yeah, there's no way that man Hughie was crawling that fast.
I'm not even being a Homelander dick writer. We've seen his powers before. That was inconsistent.
But I will say, I do think when Hughie sweat and it landed on Homelander's shoulder, that was a little bit of a Spider-Man 1 reference. Shout out Raimi Spider-Man, the best Spider-Man.
Yeah, when the Green Goblin tries to catch him and the blood drips from the ceiling, I'm pretty sure.
That was like one, like it was shot the same. Like I'm pretty sure that was a little callback there. But y'all let us know what you think in the comments.
I seen some fans online try to justify this scene by saying Homelander doesn't kill people who don't fear him, because back on the red carpet scene, Hughie stands up to Homelander, but I don't believe that.
Yeah, I don't know about all that, but Homelander does have that really fire scene with Butcher in season 3, where he breaks into Butcher's apartment and threatens him, but doesn't clap him right there, saying that they're gonna go scorched earth, which is a little bit of foreshadowing for what happens at the end of season 4, where Butcher awakens his powers. But we'll get into that later.
All of this is happening while they're doing a Jesus on Ice performance for Christmas. I don't know what that was about. I wasn't too much into it.
Yeah, again, they just throw that subtlety right out the window, man. I've heard the Happy Holidays versus Merry Christmas debate in real life. I don't care about it in real life, and I damn well didn't care about it in the show either, man. Shit was corny.
In this episode, they resume Hughie's boring-ass plotline with his dad and his mom, where in the beginning seasons, they left it vague on what happened to his mom, but now she's a full-front character in this season.
Yeah, in the first couple of seasons, Hughie mentions that he doesn't have a mom, but in this season, they bring his mom front and center, and she's just like a confusing and hard to understand character. She's like a vault employee, but she knows about Compound V. She gives it to his dad. I really just don't understand what's going on and what this has to do with the plot.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that wasn't in the news report.
Definitely not, man. How does she know the blue stuff in his coat is Compound V? Why don't she just give a random drug to her ex-husband?
They're probably going to bring it back later on some evil stuff, but it smells a little fishy right now.
Bad writing.
Brian now lives with Homelander in Seven Towers, so Butcher decides to play rip-off Mortal Kombat with him to try to convince him to come over, which I thought was pretty funny.
Bro, it was okay, bro.
Nah, Homelander's actually in Mortal Kombat, so that was great.
Fair point, but Anthony Starr don't even voice him.
That was new information. Why'd you just drop that on me, man?
Bro, because we...
You just dropped... Butcher actually has an ulterior motive after being convinced by Joe Kessler to drug Ryan to bring him over to their side.
Yeah, this is where you really start to see that dark Butcher dynamic forming with him and Joe Kessler. And you start to see Becca being the angel on his shoulder and Joe Kessler being the devil.
So he invites Ryan over to make cookies just like how his mom did, with a little secret ingredient.
But Butcher, he has second thoughts and throws them cookies away, showing that Butcher's still on the good side of things.
Ryan only agrees to meet up with Butcher because he's feeling sad about accidentally killing his training partner.
Yeah, Ryan kind of gets a taste of the dark side, but he's still on the light side, man. He's still thinking about his mom. He still wants to be a good person, and that shows throughout the season.
It also shows that how Butcher still cares about Ryan enough to comfort him about this.
Yeah, absolutely. Butcher still wants to keep his promise to Becca, but by the end of the season, we all know how that goes.
At the end of the episode, Ryan returns to Seven Tower, where Homelander smells Butcher on him and starts to throw a tantrum.
But Homelander can only smell people sometimes, or else he would have smelled Hughie's sweaty ass right above him.
Homelander actually gets so mad that he throws a statue at a mirror, breaking it.
Yeah, and in this scene, Anthony Starr gets to flex his little acting ability. Not a lot of people notice, but he was real famous in New Zealand before he played Homelander for playing twins on a different New Zealander show.
Yeah, it was nice to bring back this version of Homelander where he talks to his multiple personalities in the mirror, showing how he wants to get rid of the love inside of him and his humanity side.
Shout out Anthony Starr for being an A-list actor, man. We didn't even know. Episode 4.
I don't need any of it anymore.
After Homelander's temper tantrum at the end of episode 3, he decides to go back to where he lived as a child to kill his humanity in his heart.
Man, this episode is brutal. Homelander goes in there and he just starts destroying them. Puts the first guy
Put this man in the oven?
Crazy, bro. And he just let the ice cream cake melt on the counter while he killed the rest of them.
Yeah, that was my favorite part.
And we're not even going to talk about what he did to the scientist who called him Squirt.
Oh, yeah, bro. I was watching with one eye, man.
If you know, you know. Throw the clip in there. Can we even show that on YouTube?
I'm not showing that. I'll show the guy in the oven.
We'll show him in the oven, but I don't know about all that.
In this episode, Firecracker also gets a smackdown by Starlight after exposing her baby deletion.
We gotta talk about this happening off screen, man. There's one thing I hate in media more than anything, and it's important plot lines happening off screen. Terrible writing.
In this episode, we get a little bit of an explanation into why Kimiko's mute.
Yeah, we get a flashback of her on her first night at the Shining Light Liberation Camp, and she actually has to fight another girl where she ends up injuring her in her face and giving her a nice scar, and that's the reason that she goes mute.
At first, I didn't like this explanation that much because I thought it was through experimentation with the V in the camp that she lost her ability to speak. But later on, they reveal it's through trauma, which makes more sense.
Yeah, they kind of always implied that it was through trauma, especially with that story her brother gave about her witnessing her parents' death in season 2 when they're all on the boat. But this really solidifies the fact that it was through trauma and that one faithful night in the camp that Kimiko lost her voice.
Yeah, this really brings her character arc full circle because at the end of season 4, she actually gains the ability to speak when she's scared for Frenchie being captured.
Yeah, that was a great moment, man. We're going to get into the finale soon. Let's get it.
In this episode, we see the first time that Butcher uses his newfound powers after taking Compound V to counteract his cancer, which we also know in Diabolical, it turns cancer into super cancer.
Yeah, after taking all that temp BS in the last season, we really thought Butcher was on his last legs. And you can see the effects of it in this season where he's clearly dying. But after taking regular Compound V to counteract the cancer, that man ends up with super cancer. And he uses that super cancer to blow Ezekiel the hell up in his trailer, man. This was an absolutely crazy scene. I can't wait to see more of what Butcher can do.
I love to see scenes where Butcher is just covered in blood, massacring people. Dark Butcher's the best.
Yeah, this Dark Butcher that we got going on, especially if you've seen the end of season 4, you know this man Butcher is on a different mission with Joe Kessler in his passenger seat. No pun intended. But I just can't wait to see what season 5 does with him, man. Dark Butcher for the win.
At the end of this episode, we see an absolutely brutal scene with Homelander covered in blood and guts everywhere, all in the bad room.
Yeah, that scene was so crazy, man. This is the most unhinged we've seen Homelander in the entire show. And he was pretty unhinged in season 3 when he felt like he took over Vought. That man is just on a different streak, especially I can't wait to see what we see in season 5 after what happened at the end of season 4.
Again, we see the same theme of Homelander leaving somebody alive who's not afraid of him.
Yeah, that's right. He leaves the head scientist alive after she stands up to him, but he leaves her in a pile of blood, guts, and other bodily fluids of the other scientists that he massacred in the bad room.
What did they expect after leaving him in the oven? Episode 5. Hughie's dad has some useless ass powers and then dies.
Yeah, his mom gives him Compound V. We still don't know how the fuck she knows how to do that, but she does. And then he just starts running through people, and then Hughie actually has to boss up and put him to sleep.
Hughie's third kill.
Yeah, his first one is translucent. His second one is the dude in the rushing lab when they first introduced Soldier Boy, which is literally like one of the best episodes in the show. Shout out season 3, the best season. And then this is his third kill where he actually has to clap his dad, unfortunately, a character who's been with us since season 1.
Hughie actually kills 4 people, the 4th one being that guy when Kimiko goes to attack the Shining Light Liberation Army.
Yeah, I completely forgot about that scene. There's the one where Kimiko and Hughie have to fight them with the office supplies. That scene was okay.
More importantly in this episode, they free Stan Edgar from jail.
Bring back my man, the GOAT Gus Fring, roll a clip.
I don't think we're alike at all, Mr. White.
With Stan Edgar out of jail, we return to his house where Victoria Neuman has been taking scientists to experiment with Compound V.
Yeah, I gotta say, this is by far one of the most boring episodes in the whole show. A lot of stuff happens, but for most of it, they're just kind of trapped in this wooden barn fighting beat up animals.
Now, what about when the sheep ripped that cow apart?
Was I supposed to laugh, bro? Like, come on, bro.
That was pretty cool.
It also made no sense how the animals are just flying through other animals and entire people, but they can't fly through the wooden doors of the barn to get the people inside. And Victoria Neuman could have done some more stuff, man. She's the head popper, but for half of it, she's just standing inside, ducking and screaming.
Also, her powers are very inconsistent. If you've seen Gen V, she has about...
I have not.
Some type of blood bending powers, but in this, she just makes explosions with blood, or maybe just people's bodies.
It's not very clear at all. Either way, comes up with this stupid ass plan to use the last of the virus on one animal and get the other animals to attack it to spread the virus around and kill all of them.
Also, we get into Zoe's father, Samir, who creates a virus with Compound V to work on Homelander.
I would just like to say that the virus is allegedly airborne and all the animals have it, but Victoria Neuman, Starlight, they're just chilling in the barn. They're not worried about it at all.
And in the scene, it shows Butcher capture Samir, cut off his leg to prove to Victoria Neuman that he's actually dead. And then he tries to convince him to finish the virus to kill Homelander.
Bro, this scene was absolutely brutal.
For
And
real.
it blew my mind, the part where Butcher's talking to Joe Kessler and Samir just looks over and he's like, what is this dude talking to? Like, he
Clear
knew from the jump.
foreshadowing.
It's crazy, man. Episode 6.
This one starts off with revealing that Black Noir is definitely not the old Black Noir, and he can fly.
Yeah, I really like how they don't go with the comic book Black Noir where he's actually a clone of Homelander. That shit was terrible, man. One of the worst reveals of all time.
Yeah, this keeps the plot fresh. And in the comics, Black Noir actually kills Homelander, and Butcher kills Black Noir.
Yeah, I really want to see my man Butcher go after Homelander like full force, scorched earth, like how they said in season 3. I don't want Black Noir to do it.
Scorched earth. Shock and awe. Blood and bone.
The Deep actually tries to convince Black Noir to enjoy killing people, as he does now apparently.
Yeah, this man, the Deep, has really gone off the deep end, if you know what I'm saying. Like, he started off being like a shitty person, and he's just getting worse and worse as the seasons go on. He thinks he's a god now.
A-Train actually gives MM some information on a leak that could help them out. His name is Webweaver, a rip-off Spider-Man.
This gotta be one of the worst episodes in the whole show, man. I couldn't even sit through the whole thing.
It was trash.
Terrible.
MM gets a quick visit from Webweaver's booty hole, which was not fun for anybody.
Bro, nah, they took it a step too far with the shock value in this episode.
I was traumatized.
Absolutely traumatized. I had to close my eyes to watch this.
But not as much as Hughie, who actually had to take Webweaver's costume and infiltrate Tech Knight's mansion.
Most of this episode consisted of Hughie getting touched, bro, in Batman's sex dungeon. Crazy stuff.
Absolutely unnecessary. Yeah, another inconsistency in Homelander's powers. The whole team of the boys are there, and Hughie's in the mansion, but he can't hear, see, he has x-ray vision, like what? Or smell any of them.
Yeah, this man, Hughie, is in Webweaver's costume in the same room as Homelander, and he can't smell him. When he smelled Hughie's sweat in just a few episodes before that. His powers only work when the plot need them to, bro.
Trash.
Terrible.
Also, I don't understand. Was he just nervous around the congressman?
Yeah, bro wasn't locked in to look with his x-ray vision and see Hughie getting touched beneath the floor.
MM takes a break from being the GOAT when he has a panic attack from being the leader of the boys. But they drive anybody crazy. You seen Butcher.
Yeah, I absolutely understand, man. After having to deal with the boys all damn season, this man MM is stressed out. And he takes a fall during Tech Knight's mansion infiltration.
He's been getting hives on his arms recently and stressing more than ever. Well, with Frenchie and Kimiko on your team, what can you do?
Butcher too, man. He's always tweaking.
And guess who comes to the rescue? A-Train, where we get to see one of the best A-Train scenes in the entire show.
Yeah, absolutely a stellar scene where A-Train saves MM. Shit was heartwarming, bro.
And then when he gets to the hospital, he sees a little kid with a lit up face just accepting him as a hero for the first time.
Yeah, this scene was definitely beautiful, bro. And it was crazy how A-Train said that this was one of the first times he actually felt like a hero since he started working for Vought. A1 character arc right there.
Beautiful. Homelander's plan is to get the top leaders of the world to endorse him and mostly Victoria Neuman to get Soups in charge of America.
Yeah, and this man, Homelander, starts folding like a damn lawn chair once they start asking him questions, bro.
And, Sage, has the details.
He has no type of plan. He's just like, me strong, so I win.
Yeah, Victoria Neuman has to come in and save.
She's gonna be the vice president, and if you know anything about the comics, President Neuman gets clapped by Homelander in the comics.
And all of this happens at Tech Knight's mansion, which actually makes sense because Homelander wants to use his prisons to lock up anybody he doesn't like.
Yeah, and this man Tech Knight starts bragging about his family history of slave catchers.
Oh yeah, it's an A-Train.
Always a Klansman.
This doesn't end well for him because while he's torturing Hughie down in the basement,
Sex dungeon, bro.
yeah, you could call it that.
What else can you?
His butler comes in and actually kills him.
Yeah, bro, he got a black butler, man. Always a Klansman. Another bad Batman reference. Get out of here.
Nah, the terrible Batman reference already had me. I didn't like it that much. But then they throw a Zendaya reference because of Webweaver.
Terrible.
Like bad jokes, man.
Come on, bro. This episode was already trash enough with Hughie getting touched the whole time. They had to throw them terrible references in there too. Bad episode.
I know I said before that this is the worst episode in the entire show.
It definitely is, bro.
But it's not. It's the best because we get to see Firecracker's titties.
Come on, bro.
Only reason I'm here.
Nah.
You see Homelander go back to his origin with his baby mama milk.
Can never escape the Homelander mommy milk jokes, man. He gonna have them forever, man.
Another good part about this episode is they finally reveal that Joe Kessler is not real.
Yeah, my man Butcher finally has his Fight Club moment, man. We speculated from the beginning, though.
Yeah, I thought it was pretty obvious.
Come on, it was still fire, though. One of the best plot points in the show.
I guess, but I wasn't with it.
Bro, you just not rocking with Fight Club like I am. It's a
my
classic. And personally, I thought it was crazy how Joe Kessler yelled at Becca inside Butcher's mind, bro.
Yeah, the angel-devil dynamic was crazy. I thought it was pretty cool.
It's great writing right there, even in a terrible episode. Episode 7.
Sup, cumburgers?
And this is one of the best episodes in the whole season, bro. A solidified banger. Let's get it.
Yeah, it starts off with Ryan doing a Christmas special with, I guess, the rip-off Muppets.
Yeah, I don't know why the hell they're having a Christmas special in the middle of July. Like, maybe it'll be Christmas when you rewatch it.
Next, Homelander starts to distrust Sage and side with Firecracker. I guess just because he likes her opinions better.
He like that mommy milk.
Yeah, her opinions.
A lot of conversations happened in the last episode. Yeah, I like how this sets up Homelander kind of kicking Sage to the side and replacing her with Firecracker as his right-hand man.
Even Firecracker was scared, though, when he tried to kill Webweaver. And he did. He actually split him in half.
Yo, that scene was insane. Hold on, let's see that real quick. Yo,
Might be a Spider-Man reference. There's a comic where he actually gets torn in half.
that's crazy. I didn't even know that.
You didn't know that? Cool.
Bro's giving me a history lesson right now. Yo, that is very much a Spider-Man reference. He tore him in half in the exact same spot. Where is my super suit?
Starlight's character arc becomes even more useless when she tries to rekindle things with her mom. Actually, no, there's a good part where she and Hughie talk about why he saved her super suit.
Yeah, I mean, Starlight's character arc is just kind of the same as it's always been, the same as it was last season.
Boring.
But they polish it off nicely at the end with her. We won't even get into that right now. Let's get it.
Butcher tries one more time to reconcile with Ryan by sending him a picture of him, Becca, and Tara.
Yeah, a lot of y'all who are familiar with the comics know that Tara makes a lot more appearances in the comics than he does in this show. He's like Butcher's sidekick.
He only appeared one time in season 2.
Shout out Tara.
MM, on the other hand, when trying to get his family to safety, Monique offers him a chance to go away with them.
Yeah, I really like the part where MM considers running away with his family, but then he thinks about like, damn, if I leave, nowhere will be safe because Homelander could be anywhere. So he really has to come back and fight with the boys.
Makes sense. Ashley, who's very scared of Homelander coming in and killing her, tries to convince A-Train to run away with her.
Yeah, I don't know why she didn't take this chance. Like, Ashley always wants to stay with Vought, but they do not care about her at all over there. And y'all gonna see what happens in the next episode when it really gets down to cracking.
Yeah, it doesn't end well for her.
Not at all.
Starlight and Hughie, investigating the potential shooter of Bob Singer, encounters a shapeshifter suit, which we all know is a reference to Supernatural.
Bro, the shapeshifter has the exact same powers and sheds the skin just like how the shapeshifter sheds the skin in Supernatural.
And the memory power.
Yo, if you've seen the Supernatural anime, if you know, you know.
Supernatural anime is crazy.
If you know, you know.
Now time for one of the saddest deaths in the entire show. Ambrosia.
Absolutely heartbreaking.
To see the Deep in this emotional state after killing his girlfriend, I couldn't handle it.
I didn't even know if I could go on watching the show after this.
On to the next point.
Nice takoyaki.
After this, the Deep tells Homelander that he'll kill anybody he wants.
Yeah, the Deep really went off the deep end. I already made that joke, fuck. I mean, shoot me in the foot, pull my dick off and cut it, throw my dick in the sun.
Cut off your penises and throw them into the sun.
Hughie pleads with Neuman to try to reach her last bit of humanity to convince her to join the boys.
Yeah, this was a nice full circle moment for Hughie, going back to what he said in season 2 about not wanting to do this covered in blood and guts. This man really tries to come through and help Neuman at the end.
And to remember her relationship with him and her daughter.
Exactly.
Now time for one of the best fights in this season. The Deep, A-Train, and Starlight.
absolutely a high point of the season. You got Starlight getting her revenge on the Deep, and A-Train coming through at the end just for enough clutch to get them through the night.
And MM with a minigun. Yo, that was crazy.
That man was unstoppable. I'm not gonna lie, I don't understand why Homelander, he could kill them at any time, but he sends the dumbass Black Noir and the Deep to go kill them.
Yeah, they're just dragging it out.
Like, word, it's gotta be just plot.
Eat a flying dick.
Eat a flying dick, motherfucker.
In this scene, Butcher tries to reach Joe Kessler to unlock his powers that he killed Ezekiel with.
Yeah, this is after he realized that Joe was just an imagination of his powers, you know, his dark side. So he realizes that he can't use his power unless he gives himself completely over to that dark side. A little bit of foreshadowing for later.
And this ends off with more Hughie abuse. And the Shifter infiltrates their house and has sex with him as Starlight.
Yeah, that man Hughie can't catch a break this season. He can't catch a break in general, bro, ever since season 1.
But that's not the only thing the Shifter did. They also broke into their safe and destroyed the evidence on Victoria Neuman.
Yeah, now the boys are screwed. And also, Starlight is being held somewhere underground where she can't use her power.
And the Shifter has decided to use Starlight to assassinate the president.
Trying to frame the Starlighters. Ooh, let's get into the next episode.
The finale.
What we all been waiting for.
It starts off with the Shifter, aka Starlight, proposing to Hughie.
Now, Hughie knows something's off, but he just can't quite put his finger on it yet.
Yeah, she's walking around in a prom dress in her house. Butcher, on the other hand, is in a hospital bed dying after passing out during the last episode.
Butcher knew this was coming, and we knew this was coming, but man, it's hard to see that man Butch down like that.
At the end of the last episode, you see Butcher actually believing in Ryan after he makes an announcement in a television show that he believes in what his mother says and not what Vought says.
Yeah, this man Ryan, he always seems to come through for his mom, but I just hope he stays on that side. Let's see what happens.
Butcher, in his last moments, tries to convince Ryan to come over to their side and go against Homelander.
I really like the switch they do here. Initially, you think that Butcher's in a hospital, but then you find out he's actually in a CIA facility.
Mallory is there and she's trying to trap Ryan.
But Mallory just loses her cool and starts telling Ryan about every single bad thing Homelander's ever done, man.
Bad decision.
Terrible decision, man.
And Ryan flings Mallory into the wall, killing her.
I don't even have words for this part, man.
I didn't know what to say.
I just we seen some of Ryan's darker side, but the way he flung Mallory at the wall, it looked like he didn't even care.
He did not care at all. He just moved.
He had no type of remorse in his eyes, and Butcher just stood there in horror.
Homelander, who now has complete control of the Seven, makes a list of people who could possibly have dirt on them.
Yeah, this man Homelander is ready to take action against all his opposition. This is a devious Homelander, dictator Homelander in the making.
And guess who's on top of that list?
Ashley. The Deep puts her up there himself. I don't know why he got beef with Ashley for.
It's just a dick rider.
Biggest dick rider of all time.
So Ashley decides to take one last resort and go get some V from Homelander's apartment.
And it looks like that doesn't work out too well for her. But as we see later in the show, she's not on the floor when Homelander goes back to his apartment.
So good point.
I hope that she made it out all right, but we'll see in the next season.
She definitely turned into some type of monster.
Absolutely.
The boys are tasked with protecting the president against the shooter. While in the bunker, Hughie realizes that the Shifter is actually Starlight.
It's like a furnace in here.
It's like a furnace in there. It's like a furnace in here.
Nah, that was a good callback.
It definitely was.
You know what? I'm not gonna lie. Out of all people to protect the president from some soups,
the boys was
a great choice. Yeah.
During all this, they're almost successful in killing Bob Singer, but Starlight breaks out of her cuffs by ripping her hands almost apart.
Yeah, Eren Yeager style. Shout out AOT if you know that one.
So Starlight runs to the bunker and actually kills the Shifter to protect the president.
Starlight's character arc comes full circle from this season right in this moment. Fire moment from Starlight, I'm not gonna lie.
After the assassination fails, Homelander throws a tantrum, destroying the whole apartment, just sitting there crying.
Yeah, no matter how powerful Homelander gets, he's always just a little kid on the inside, man. He can't help himself.
Victoria Neuman tries to reconcile with Hughie and give the boys information on Homelander's assassination plot.
Yeah, this comes after one of my absolutely favorite Homelander scenes where he's just acting completely unhinged and he starts threatening Zoe right to Newman's ear over the phone.
Acting like a true villain.
Super dictator Homelander in the making.
He threatens to send Victoria pieces of Zoe.
In the mail, like once a day. That's just evil shit right there.
Hughie accepts the offer of Victoria Neuman and tells her to come to the bunker where the boys are staying.
And guess who shows up right on time? Oi!
Butcher, after seeing Ryan kill Mallory, gives in to Joe Kessler and gets consumed by the super tumor.
Yeah, that man picks Victoria Neuman up and rips her in half, comic book style.
Best scene in the entire season.
Like a Mortal Kombat fatality, absolutely brutal.
All the boys stared at Butcher like, what the fuck is he doing here? And he bust in there and he stole the V-Virus.
Yeah, and then he rides off into the sunset in his 70s muscle car like he's Dean Winchester. Eric Kripke just couldn't help himself.
Sage goes to talk to Homelander to basically tell him this was all a part of her plan the whole time.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. I knew from the jump that Sage had a plan that was gonna come through at the end.
Of course.
She's the smartest person in the world. Like, I knew that she has something cooking.
Yeah, I've seen enough Death Note to know when the smart person is thinking 10 steps ahead.
Shout out like Yagami.
I've won. Exactly as planned.
She tells Homelander that it was actually important for Neuman to get killed so Congressman Calhoun can become in charge and dedicate himself to Homelander.
Yeah, Sage knew from the jump that Victoria Neuman would have been too hard to control, and I agree with that. So
yeah, she was just a pawn.
Yeah, she was always just a pawn. They knew that Homelander would eventually become the de facto dictator of America just through a technicality or something like that.
After seeing what happens to Butcher, all the boys decide to split up and run away in different countries.
Yeah, they're getting the hell up out of there. There's
Would
nothing
you
left for
stay
them.
there, bro?
Absolutely not. They live in Homelander land.
I think they're going the comic book route where Butcher might come back, and if they get in their way, he might kill them.
Yeah, you never know, man. They changed a lot from the comic book, so we kind of got evil Butcher now, but I really hope that he doesn't go like the comic book route and end up killing the boys.
Yeah.
Spoilers if you haven't read the comics.
Before they can escape, Vought sent certain agents to capture the boys.
Yeah, and we get a comeback from Cindy from season 2. I never thought she was even gonna come back, man. I thought they just forgot about her, but Kripke don't forget nothing.
They also send in Gen V characters to capture Frenchie.
I never watched that shit.
While Frenchie's getting captured, Kimiko actually speaks for the first time, screaming no.
Yeah, they bring her character arc full circle with this. You know, they hinted that she could talk earlier by overcoming her trauma, and when she sees Frenchie in danger, she finally gets one word out.
While Hughie's getting captured, he tells Starlight, go, run, escape, and we actually see her flying again.
Yeah, they hyped up her ability to fly so much at the end of season 3. I'm glad we got a fire Starlight flying scene right at the end of this season. Good way to end the season.
Moving on to character arcs.
Let's get it.
First off, we got my boy Homelander, the most important character in this season.
This season is definitely the Homelander and Butcher season. It's all about their character development.
This man Homelander is completely unhinged this season.
Yeah, he's pretty much let go of all the attachments that he had in the previous seasons, from wanting to be loved to wanting to control Vought. He just doesn't care anymore.
Going back to season 2, when Stormfront convinces him that there's other ways to make people love him, he does not care anymore.
He doesn't want none of that love. He just wants to be in power, and it all goes back to him aging in the beginning of this season and wanting to leave something for Ryan.
Yeah, after finding out he can age, he has basically a meltdown where he just wants to leave everything in his legacy to Ryan. As stated before, in this season, we get to see a whole bunch of Homelander tantrums.
Especially that one after he smells Butcher on Ryan after he goes to see him. That man started tweaking.
Again, my favorite type of scenes when Anthony Starr goes into character and explains why he doesn't need his humanity anymore.
Yeah, he does a really great job with those multiple personalities in the mirror scenes with Homelander, especially that one in season 3.
He goes in there and he basically tells himself that he does not want to be loved by anybody.
And that brings us right into the scene where Homelander goes back to the lab where he grew up at and kills all the scientists.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal, as we said before, but this time they go into detail of what happened to Homelander as a child.
I think this is really one of the craziest Homelander scenes because he just has no more remorse anymore.
He does not care about anybody, he just wants revenge on the people who hurt him as a kid.
I feel like he doesn't even care about the revenge. He just wants to feel in power, and he wants to feel like nothing can hold him back, not even his past trauma or his own emotions.
In the past, he felt like he was in control of most situations, but right now it's slipping through his fingers.
Especially after Stan Edgar gets arrested and he's in control of Vought, that man Homelander feels like he's on top of the world.
Now we get to see Homelander as a true villain when he threatens Victoria Neuman with chopping up her daughter and sending her back to her piece by piece.
Nah, this was really a crazy Homelander scene. You could always kind of tell that Homelander's thinking something heinous, but this is one of them scenes where he just lets it go and he says everything that's on his mind.
I was stunned. Even all the brutality he's done, I didn't expect that.
I did not expect that at all.
When he finds a picture of Butcher and Becca in Ryan's backpack, this man just starts lasering holes in walls.
Yeah, don't forget Terror, alright?
Nah, I'm not gonna forget Terror.
That's the GOAT right there. Nah, but it's clear that man Homelander has teared up his apartment more times than Vought has rebuilt it, man.
Yeah, man, Ryan walks in on that. He's just like, yo, what the hell is happening?
I feel so bad for Ryan in a lot of these scenes because he's really just trying to be like a normal kid and have a normal relationship with Homelander. And
he never knew his dad, and he's just trying to get to know him.
And that Homelander is just like a huge, souped up baby who throws tantrums once a day. I don't know how Ryan's dealing with all that. Another thing I want to say is that this man Anthony Starr's acting is really amazing in this show. Really in this season too. Homelander never looks like he's been in a regular situation in his entire life. And you can tell from his demeanor that he just doesn't know what's going on most of the time.
The funniest part is when they start, what does he say? His Nazi died, and he just goes, nah, show that.
Homelander, your Nazi died!
Did he just say his Nazi died?
Bro, Homelander really does not know how to act.
Yeah, in most scenes, when something awkward happens, he just smiles, laughs, looks at the ground, says a joke that makes no sense, smiles and laughs. It's really like the most awkward thing I've ever seen.
He was locked up in a cage for the first like 20 years of his life. What do you think was gonna happen?
And most of the things he has to say are like scripted. He's like an actor in real life, so he has no idea what to do in most situations.
He was trained like a dog. This season ends off with the worst Homelander tantrum. He just sits in his apartment crying because he's failing.
Yeah, his absolutely destroyed apartment. Like I said, they probably rebuilt that thing a million times, but he's just sitting on the floor sobbing like a big fucking baby. That's all he does.
At first, we see Firecracker as basically a replacement for Madeline Stillwell's titty milk, but I don't know. I don't know what happened towards the end of the season. Homelander's like, "Yo, get away from me, bro. Get away from me."
Yeah, Firecracker is getting sick from forcing herself to lactate, I guess. And you really gonna see Homelander's superiority complex jump out when he's like, "Yo, you need to get your pussing ass away from me. You're dirty.
I don't want to catch that. Get that away from me.
Get your stank breath away from me, bro."
They also show Homelander trying to be in control of Ryan when he says, "Ryan, come here now. Come here now." And Ryan just leaves. He's not.
Yeah, Ryan doesn't listen, which is like, you get to see a lot about Ryan in the season, and he doesn't always listen to Homelander. He very much thinks for himself.
It also shows that Homelander won't hurt Ryan.
Yeah, he's very protective of him, especially in the season 3 finale. He was almost ready to go out for Ryan when Soldier Boy attacked him.
Yeah, they actually show that Homelander may actually love Ryan. Moving on, we have Kimiko. Kimiko's character arc this season actually went somewhere when they discover her true backstory of her losing her ability to speak, and then moving on to when she actually learns to speak again.
I really like that part, but I feel like her character arc as a whole was kind of okay. She does have like the therapy stuff in the beginning where she talks about like being a monster.
I actually forgot about that.
Yeah, it's very forgettable. But her character arc is kind of just more or less the same character arc it's always been. She feels bad about killing people, and she feels like the V made her into a monster.
Yeah, this is just season 3 again, when she's like, I don't want to kill people. Remember when she killed little Nina?
I feel like a lot of the character arcs in this season are just season 3 part 2, but it's just building up to season 5, so I guess it's alright.
I feel like they just plan to have 5 seasons, so they're trying to squeeze in a little extra content between season 4 and season 5. Exactly,
and like I said before, this season was really only character development for Homelander and Butcher. Everybody else just kind of gets put to the side.
What about A-Train?
A-Train's the GOAT. Alright, we gonna get to that one. I
can't believe his character redemption arc actually worked. Now on to Frenchie's hot butt sex.
For most of the season, Frenchie gets high and gets oiled up. Let's get into it.
Frenchie, on the other hand, has basically no character development in this season. Actually, I take that back. He tries to redeem himself after murdering a lot of people, but again, same plotline as in season 3.
Yeah, Frenchie's plotline in this season is really garbage. Most of the time that he shows up on the screen, he's really just doing nothing that's integral to the main plot of the story. He kind of has his offside plot with his lover this season, which was really redundant considering he had 2 other ones in the last couple seasons.
The only important scene Frenchie had in the entire show was when he was trying to forgive himself for murdering Colin's family, which was also not relevant to the plot.
I mean, they really introduced Colin, who's a character that not a lot of people cared about, and make him really integral to Frenchie's plotline in this story, only for it to not really go anywhere, and then Frenchie goes to jail and just gets out the next day.
It was more for Kimiko, and in the end, they end up together.
Yeah, it's like they really just didn't want to have Frenchie and Kimiko get together in this season, so they just shoehorned like a plotline in for Frenchie, like an excuse for him not to get with Kimiko, only for them to get together at the end.
They try to redeem him with the virus, make him create it by himself.
Yeah, they ultimately have Frenchie develop the virus at the end of the season, but I mean, that's really the only important thing he does the entire time. He either shows up and does nothing, or he just F's off and also does nothing. His plotline was just complete garbage this season.
Even in the past, most of the time Frenchie messes up, but he comes through for the boys in the end.
He came through, but that was really the only thing he did. I don't think he was integral to any mention of him in the plot at all throughout the entire season.
A-Train. A-Train in this season has the most character development out of any other character. Throughout the season, they go over A-Train's moral dilemma and his past murders and current workings with Homelander.
Yeah, A-Train definitely has one of the best plot lines out of like the whole show, I think. He really comes full circle from his villainous tendencies in the beginning of the show to really feeling like a hero at the end.
We first see this type of behavior from A-Train back in Herogasm, where he actually feels sorry for killing Robin. And this moves up to now when he gives the V to Hughie and Hughie forgives him.
Yeah, he came through and got the V for Hughie's dad from Homelander's room, and that's not the only heroic thing he did this season.
Nope. Moving on, he actually saves MM from a panic attack.
Yeah, and A-Train goes on to say that that's one of the first times that he really felt like a hero since he started working at Vought, which was really just like a beautiful moment for A-Train, man. I love this plotline so much.
Yeah, he starts to form a relationship with MM after giving him information about Todd, helping them follow Sage, and in the end, he helps them fight the Deep in Black Noir.
Yeah, and A-Train ultimately convinces MM to stay because towards the end of the season, he wants to dip with Monique, but A-Train convinces him that he needs to stay and help them with their plot to stop Homelander. He also really comes through when they fight the Deep in Black Noir.
It comes full circle. In the beginning, MM tries to help A-Train with his moral dilemma, and in the end, he helps MM.
Such a fire plot line for both the ghosts right there.
And this brings us right around to what happens to MM during this season.
Yeah, I like how MM steps up to be the leader of the boys again, like how he did in season 2. He's always been like the co-captain, but he has to shine again in this one.
I only like the part when he kicks Butcher out of the group. To be honest, it felt like they had too many characters in this season and they didn't know what to do with him.
Sometimes it was pretty slow, but you know, MM is one of my favorite characters in the show, so I always love to see him doing stuff, but there wasn't really a lot for him to do in this season.
At least they try to continue his family storyline to try to figure out if he's actually going to end up back with Monique or actually just stay with the boys.
Yeah, in this season they show that MM is still trying to connect with his family, especially Monique, and he has a lot of really great scenes with her, especially when he wants to leave towards the end.
Yeah, he's a good father and he's trying not to abandon his daughter.
I don't know why he looks like somebody's Puerto Rican uncle in this season though. Like,
bro cut his beard and lost weight. It was bad. The most character development Starlight had in this season was her face. Starlight and her first appearance. Yeah, Chris, I saw like a review, and then literally they were talking about like the season finale, and it just in the background was Starlight. After Homelander and A-Train, it's kind of a letdown with Hughie, who actually does nothing in this season.
I mean, he has a lot of good moments towards the end when he tries to reconnect with Victoria Neuman, and he ultimately kind of gets her on her side before Butcher destroys her in the season finale. But yeah, Hughie basically does nothing this whole season.
They try to fix his family by killing off his dad and reintroducing his mother. I don't know why.
Yeah, the plotline about him reconnecting with his mom was really dry. I didn't care about her at all, and they introduced her when the plot was really starting to thicken up, and she just is there.
In the past seasons, they really try to show that Hughie's trying to become a stronger character. But in this season, they just go on a tangent, basically, trying to re-explain his family values.
I mean, he has that nice moment where he has to boss up and put his dad down like a dog, but
they try to show an episode where Hughie goes on basically a fight with Kimiko to try to show that he's grown as a character. But why did they forget about that for like the first 4 episodes of the season?
I feel like in this season they forgot about a lot of the plots from the last season. And they also just kind of had this theme of all the characters trying to get over their past trauma, like Starlight, Kimiko, Frenchie, and they just throw Hughie in there to get over the stuff with his mom when it is basically irrelevant at this point.
The only people who should be doing that is Kimiko and probably Homelander. Actually, Frenchie has a lot of trauma.
Yeah, but the Starlight stuff about like the pageants and her bullying Firecracker,
I don't know about that one.
it was just super random. But we're about to get into that in a second.
The Deep and Black Noir are just psychopaths in this season.
Yeah, they really just go on murder sprees a few times.
Remember when he killed the writer, just smashed his head into the wall, and he's like, I'm the smartest, right? Like, what the hell is wrong with you, man?
Yeah, this man, the Deep, is convincing himself he's a god among men.
I guess he's been put down too many times.
Oh, and he says he does not apologize to Starlight, but then she gets to whoop his ass, so that's a good moment. Speaking of Starlight, let's get into her plotline. It's kind of ass.
Yeah, so she's like deciding if she wants to become a hero again in this season.
Yeah, I do feel like, again, it's just more of the same stuff from the previous seasons that just carried over into this one.
I guess she has the Starlighters, and they're trying to follow her, but it's really redundant.
I'm not gonna lie, when it started off with the Starlighters and like them building up stuff against Homelander,
I thought it was gonna go somewhere.
Yeah, I really thought that was going somewhere, but Homelander gets off trial in like the second episode, and then that just kind of goes nowhere.
I guess it wasn't part of Sage's plan.
Well, they have the plan to put the Starlighters in camps for with Tech Knight's prisons, but I mean,
Yeah, but that has nothing to do with Starlight.
nothing to do with Starlight.
They also have the part where Hughie keeps Starlight's costume, and she's at a crossroads if she actually wants to become Starlight again.
Yeah, and this also kind of blends into the shifter plot, which I thought was really good for Starlight, especially when she's captured and she has to break out.
For the first time, you actually see Starlight do something in action. I take that back. In season 1, when she comes to save Hughie against A-Train.
Yeah, that was a great moment too. But they really let Starlight boss up at the end and take care of the shifter on her own. Yeah, that's just a great moment for her, despite how messy her plotline was in the beginning of the season.
For the most part, Starlight seemed as not a threat for most people. Remember Homelander?
Stop it! You know how that ends.
Victoria Neuman
Put him away. Not gonna hurt you.
and Stormfront.
Oh my. Oh yes. That is adorable.
Victoria Neuman, on the other hand, takes a prominent role in this season by becoming one of the main villains working with Homelander.
Yeah, I really like Victoria Neuman in this show. In the beginning, she's just like this shadowy figure that shows up sometimes on TV, but you don't really know much about her.
I think it was pretty cool with the reveal that she was the head popper in season 2.
There was a great moment when they pop Rainer's head, and then right after you see Victoria Neuman on the TV. That was great foreshadowing.
Now that Victoria Newman's teamed up with Homelander and they have a plan to basically take over America, we see the darker side of Victoria Newman.
Yeah, she's kind of okay with most of Homelander's plan, but you could tell she has one foot in the door, one foot out. And it's not really until Homelander starts threatening her directly that she really realizes that too much is going on for her and her daughter.
For the most part, she just wants to protect her daughter, but in the long run, she feels like it's morally unacceptable.
I really like the relationship that she develops with Hughie, like at the end of season 2 into season 3 and now in season 4, where they're friends and then they have to become enemies, but you can tell that they really like each other and they don't really want to fight.
Remember in the trailer when she basically explains to him that she's one of his best friends and she wanted to tell him that she was a suit?
That was a really great moment. I feel like they handled their friendship up really well, but we all know how Newman's story ends.
Yeah. In the end, she comes back around and Hughie tries to forgive her, but Butcher steps in and ends her life.
You're all fucking welcome.
Yeah, it was a nice scene. I'm sorry.
That was such a fire scene, bro.
I didn't want to see her die, but it was still great. Last but definitely not least, my favorite character, Billy the Goat Butcher.
Yes, sir.
In this season, we see Butcher go full dark, like in the comic.
This man definitely has one of the best plot lines of the whole show in this season, and it's crazy to think about all the other character development he's had going through seasons 1 and 3.
I can't wait to see this in season 5.
I'm saying, bro, in the beginning of this season, Butcher looks like he's ready to give up.
But after Ryan kills Mallory, he snaps.
God, he has a full 360, and
he gives in to Joe Kessler fully, and he just goes on a murdering spree.
I gotta say, once again, I really did love the Joe Kessler bait and switch plotline that they did with him not being real, and the devil and angel on his shoulder with him and Becca.
We finally see Butcher's character take that final step into becoming his full anti-hero.
Yeah, I'd say he's more of a villain now. After killing Neuman and turning on the boys,
he still has a goal to take out Homelander at least.
We do kind of see him assume his form of comic book Butcher here, where he wants to kill all soups, making a genocide bomb out of the virus.
To go against the boys, especially Hughie, because if you know how it ends in the comics, Hughie kills Butcher. but I don't think they're gonna go that route.
They're definitely not gonna go that route.
But it's still crazy that after everything he's done for them, to just turn on them like that.
Yeah, I also think it's crazy how he's really going full genocide on the Supes after he could have killed Homelander at the end of season 3, but he stopped because he wanted to save Ryan.
Yeah, the real question is he gonna kill Ryan?
I think that Ryan will change his heart at the end of the season, but going into the next season, Ryan might be on that hit list.
Ryan's character also has taken a turn in the season, showing that he does not care if he kills people.
I think he does care, but that scene where he killed Mallory was brutal. He just looked at her like he didn't even know her.
Yeah, in the beginning, when he flings that guy at the wall, he was devastated. But once he kills Mallory, did not care at all.
And you definitely get to see his darker side when he makes the assistant slap the director, and he was enjoying that.
But back to Butcher. This man, Butcher, is finally done with the mercy on Homelander. Scorched earth.
Scorched earth. And
any route to get there.
And I do think it's crazy how you see Butcher in the hospital bed. He calls Hughie and he lets him know, like, he's done.
Yeah.
He was really gonna accept his death in that scene.
I heard that Carl Urban was so good in that scene that they didn't even flip back and forth between him and Hughie on the phone. They just stayed on him the whole time.
That man Carl Urban's a GOAT. Shout out him.
Every scene in this show with Billy Butcher, I love. Sorry to be a dick rider, but
Yeah,
he's
dick
literally
rider.
the best character.
Butcher might be the best character in the show. He definitely gets the most attention, and he definitely gets the best plot lines. From everything in the first season about him revealing his backstory, to the plot line with Becca and Ryan, and then this season him going full scorched earth. I just love Butcher so much, man.
Yeah, I really liked Hughie at first, but his character arc goes nowhere. Like, is he the main character? Is he not the main character? But nah, Butcher's the main character.
Yeah.
I don't care.
Hughie's character arc, I feel like it builds up a lot in season 3, and then in season 4 it very much just plateaus. Like, it's going nowhere. But Butcher stays on top.
Focus on Butcher.
The parallel between Homelander and Butcher is really just crazy.
They both slowly just slip into the darkness.
Yeah, it reminds me of that scene in season 3 where they both use their laser eyes at the same time.
Yeah, that was nice.
That was
to have
crazy.
Similar powers as Homelander, the guy he hates. Beautiful writing.
Shows how he's becoming more and more like Homelander, falling into the dark side. We'll see in season 5. Thank you so much for tuning in today.
I don't care if you enjoyed it. I'm not here to please you.
Well, we are professional hating. Hating is what we do.
If you want us to hate on something, leave it in the comments below. Hopefully it's your favorite show. I'll go in and destroy it.
Yeah, we have another video planned for seasons 1 through 3 of The Boys. And if we get 20 likes, maybe I'll watch Gen V.
And remember,
go f*** yourself. At this point, you find out that Pyro had a deal with Paradox to shoot Cassandra Nova, which was kind of super random. The movie had a good plot, but this was just a random ass plot point.
Basically, they're telling you that Paradox wasn't a threat enough to Deadpool and Wolverine, so they try to switch it to Cassandra Nova.